Glory be to God who gives us the word. May God write that word on our hearts, and may God and God alone receive glory, honor, and praise. I can assure you that if you look at a Presbyterian church planning calendar, you will not find the Sunday before Ash Wednesday designated as Mardi Gras Sunday. The official liturgical designation is the Transfiguration of the Lord, and takes us to the mountaintop not once but twice as we read the stories of Moses' encounter with God on Mount Sinai, and to the mountaintop with Jesus and the disciples when Jesus' appearance was changed. That's really what today is all about. But when you have the chance to have a little Dixieland music and worship and sing some of the songs that take you down to Big Easy, if only in your imagination, well, then you start to do some rethinking. It is Mardi Gras season in New Orleans and other towns throughout the southeastern part of our country, as well as throughout South America and Europe. We think of Mardi Gras as a time of debauchery and partying in the streets, and there's plenty of that to be sure. But Mardi Gras means Fat Tuesday, and refers to the tradition of eating rich and fatty foods on the day prior to the beginning of Lent on Ash Wednesday. You hear it even more if you are in South America or some of the European countries that celebrate Carnival, which comes from two Latin words meaning goodbye to meat. Mardi Gras is a big blowout before the more solemn and somber days of Lent, which begin this Wednesday. And if you head down to New Orleans, you'll hear a phrase used throughout the Mardi Gras days that comes from the Cajunized version of French. Laissez, bon temps, rouler, they say. The traditional translation is, let the good times roll. Now before we head into Lent, before we take on the disciplines and make the sacrifices of the days prior to Jesus' crucifixion, oh, for heaven's sakes, let's just let the good times roll. Laissez, bon temps, rouler. Which takes us back to the two stories from Scripture that are before us today. Both are stories of people encountering God in a profound way. What could be a better time than that? Moses is on Mount Sinai to receive the terms of the covenant God was making with the people. We refer to them as the Ten Commandments, but these were the terms of the contract between God and the people of Israel. God says, I will be your God if you agree to these terms. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourselves idols. You shall not make wrongful use of the name of the Lord your God. You will remember the Sabbath and you will keep it holy. You will honor your father and mother. You will not murder. You will not commit adultery. You will not... Come on. Steal. Thank you. Steal. You will not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you will not covet anything in your neighbor's house, nor your neighbor's wife, nor anything that belongs to your neighbor. How are you doing so far? Well, if you live in this way, says God, I will be your God, and you will be my people. But here's the fun part. When Moses came down from the mountaintop, the skin on his face was as white as the snow. He glowed, shone, the Scriptures say. There was something about this encounter with God that remained on his person, and the people of Israel could see it, leading to that ridiculous little image of whenever Moses would go in and talk with God, he would take the veil off his face, but when he would go to talk to the people of Israel, he put the veil back on so he wouldn't scare them. It's really kind of funny. But you see, God had really spoken to him. Moses had really been with God. Laissez, bon temps, rouler. Let the good times roll. While he was there, he was changed before their eyes. Like Moses, he was illuminated, and his clothes became a dazzling white. Then suddenly, Elijah and Moses, can you believe it? Symbols of the law and the prophets, some believed would appear again when the Messiah came. Suddenly, they were standing there with him. I mean, we've got this conflagration of events this weekend. Imagine if there it was, a press conference, and Obama was standing at the microphone, and suddenly Washington and Lincoln were standing behind him. That's what's going on. And when the disciples woke up and saw what was taking place, they offered to build 3 dwelling places for them. We'll just stay here, Jesus, and enjoy this amazing moment, is the inference we should draw. Jesus, Moses, and Elijah, all in one place at the same time. It doesn't